What is up, guys? Welcome to a new episode on Ron and Roger's Dr. Pepper Pup. Today we'll be discussing and reviewing Darkman, a movie from 1996 or something. Do you know?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, a movie from the 90s.
Yeah, something like that. 1995 to 1999, I think.
It wasn't even 1994 even. Oh, it's from 1990.
Oh, I was way off. Okay, all I know is that Liam Neeson looked way young in this.
I know, and that he didn't just do it for the paycheck. That came later with Taken and stuff like that. All kinds of shitty stuff he does now. I would actually love to see a Darkman, like sort of a reboot, which will just ignore Darkman 2 and Darkman 3. With Liam Neeson, actually, that would be pretty cool. And I know Liam Neeson loves the paycheck, so he'll definitely do it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want.
He kind of has been making the same movie just like 5 different times, because he did the one Taken, where someone gets kidnapped and he has to rescue them. Then he did Taken 2, where someone gets kidnapped and he has to rescue them. Then Taken 3, where someone gets rescued and he has to kidnap them. And by that, if you're not thinking he's a bad father, you're kind of deluding yourself. And then he did Walk Among the Tombstones, where I think either someone gets kidnapped or killed, and then he has to rescue or avenge them. And then he did the one on the train, where someone's going to get kidnapped and he has to rescue them. So it's like the same movie 5 times. So Darkman would definitely be a good change of pace for him.
Yeah, it's true, and I mean, with like some of these effects in this movie, like some are just straight up Sam Raimi effects. You know, you'll see these effects in the Evil Dead trilogy, the Spider-Man trilogy. Not really in Drag Me to Hell. Like Drag Me to Hell is a bit too new for like these Sam Raimi effects. But some effects are just half-assed. Like the scene where he's hanging on the helicopter. I would have loved to see that done now, because now it would look way more realistic. But on the other hand, it's kind of fun to see like these old school effects. But like a scene like that redone would be pretty cool, actually.
I thought some of the things were pretty well done, like how they had 2 actors sort of being in the same place when he had the disguises on. I thought those were well done, but yeah, the helicopter, that kind of just screams. That was just like yelling green screen to me.
I know. Have you seen Darkman 2 and Darkman 3?
Not yet. I might watch them sometime in the future, though.
Yeah, they're definitely worth checking out if you really like the first one. But there are also like these books from published by Pocket Books, written by Randall Boyle. He also did a novelization for this film. But anyway, these books are actually really great. So if there are any die-hard Darkman fans out there like me, I definitely recommend these books. Anyway, what did you think of the soundtrack? Because that just screams Spider-Man 2002 to me.
Yeah, well, if I remember correctly, wasn't it composed by Danny Elfman?
It was. Both of them are.
Yeah.
Like the first time I watched this, I was like, "Oh shit!" It's like I'm rewatching Spider-Man again for the first time.
There were a lot of scenes where I was just watching it and I was like, "This is definitely Sam Raimi. This is definitely the same guy as Spider-Man." You know, there were so many sequences that just kind of like just the similarity. There's like Simmons. There's the end scene at the construction site. I was thinking of Spider-Man 3, and then there's like the disguise scene, and then there's there are actually a lot of funny moments in it too, which I was kind of surprised about.
I know.
I didn't really expect that.
It doesn't take itself too serious.
Probably my favorite moment in the whole film is when he's at the carnival, and for some reason, after the accident he has like anger or something. They cut his spine or something, and now he's angry. I don't know, but yeah, there's the one scene where he's at the carnival and he just goes nuts because apparently something happened with the lab accident where they cut his spine and now he can't feel pain and he's angry all the time, something like that. And I don't know how their science works, but whatever. So he's at the carnival, and this guy at the carnival cares way too much about his job. Like I've been to carnivals and I've seen people that work there and they just do not give a shit. And this guy, on the other hand, is hanging on to this teddy bear or whatever like it's his life savings. And he's like not letting that thing go. And then Liam Neeson just flips out and just like throws him through the wall. And it's just, I laughed so much during that scene. And I had to watch it 3 times before I could actually hear what they're saying over my language.
Yeah, I especially like the scene where he's like, "Take the fucking elephant." And then he like breaks his rubber fingers because like these fingers look fake as hell, but it's just Sam Raimi style fake. So it's like funny fake. Like it's over the top fake, like that way.
Yeah. It's like we don't have the budget or whatever, for whatever reason we can't do this like with great CGI they can do now. So they're just going to be like, you know what, just make a joke out of it pretty much.
Yeah.
And it did it well, too. Another thing about the scene that I thought made it funnier was because of his later works, I've always known Liam Neeson as more of like a serious actor. So seeing him just flip out over an elephant, it just really made me laugh.
Or like the scene where he's you think I'm some kind of a circus freak, and he goes all berserk and dancing, like, see the dancing freak, just $5.
That made me think of the Spider-Man 3 dancing scene with emo Peter Parker.
What do you think of the like Bruce Campbell cameo in the end?
Well, it's once again always a Sam Raimi, another nod to being a Sam Raimi film. Just
like the car.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a Sam Raimi film without Bruce Campbell in one way or another.
Or about the car, of course.
What's that?
Or about the yellow car, like the Oldsmobile from 1977 or something.
I'm not sure which one that is.
Like the car Uncle Ben drives, that one is also in Dragon to Hell, Evil Dead.
Okay. Yeah, I know what you mean.
That one is also in this movie, but it's like 1 second. Like it's in the scene where he's on the truck and stuff like that, and then he just then there's like a car incoming, and that's like the Sam Raimi car, the yellow Oldsmobile.
It's kind of like Stan Lee and Alfred Hitchcock are always in their own movies, and then Sam Raimi, instead of actually being in it, he just instead subs in a car, and then Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, and maybe he likes his brother too, because
oh yeah, Ted Raimi.
Yeah, Ted Raimi's in there too. I actually really like his death scene. But let's pretend you didn't, and then the truck is incoming, and it's so obvious that it's like a doll, but again, it's just over the top, fake looking, so it's actually really funny.
It flips it from being like, oh, this is so fake, to being, oh, it's like they're making a joke of it. It makes that switch, and it to me, having that switch, that swing in a movie, as long as you don't as long as it doesn't take it very seriously, then it can make the movie kind of funny like that.
Yeah, and
I don't even know what else to say.
like whenever Darkman is like wearing like fake faces and stuff like that, you can tell that it's fake. Like you can tell that that is not like when in the scene where Durant and the fake Durant, so Darkman, are standing next to each other. You can just see that Darkman's Durant looks kind of more white and rubbery. So I actually really like that because in Darkman 2 and Darkman 3, you can definitely tell that it's just the actor actually playing it and not a mask.
Yeah.
It looks like way too realistic in those movies. So that's another thing I actually really appreciate about it.
I thought it was kind of funny in the scenes where they have the actor playing themselves a second time, where they look like just like the guy, and then as soon as he takes off the mask, it's like a different color, and it's totally rubbery, and it's like loose fitting, and it would never fit that well on his face.
No, I know. Like it just fits perfectly. And his voice sounds perfect too. But what do you think overall of the film?
Honestly, I actually I consider this kind of more of a stepping stone for Sam Raimi's career or of films. I wouldn't call it a bad movie, but to me, I mean, there were some really funny moments, but to me, there were kind of too many for me to really consider this to be a great movie. I would probably give it about a 6 or 6.5 out of 10 because mostly because the funny moments to me bring it up, but there are a lot of moments in it that were just unrealistic and didn't really make sense. Like he has the powers because he gets blown up in a lab and survives, and then they cut or his spine or something, and then he gains super strength or something, and then he has his mask lasts longer when it's dark out, but they never really use that in the movie. There's only like the one scene in the construction site where it wouldn't matter anyway. But yeah, I would give this probably about a 6 or 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I definitely can. I definitely do understand your arguments, but I actually really like it. I do think like the moral of the story, like you don't really find out what Sam Raimi is trying to tell with this film until the ending. Really, really, the moral to the story is this movie is about a man who tries to live with all his problems and stuff. But that message the film tries to give you only comes in at like the last few minutes. Like actually at like the very last minutes. Because when he throws down the other guy, like the business guy, down the building, then he says, "I'm learning to live with a lot of things." And that's really the only a scene where it gets indicated that the message Sam Raimi is trying to tell is that this is about a man who's hurt and trying to live with a lot of things.
Yeah.
But really, you don't really get that before that scene.
Well, yeah, like you're saying, it's interesting how he can't with the scene with him with the hanging onto the hook. I did enjoy that because it was kind of like this helpless feeling because you have this guy, you have Spider-Man, he has webs and he has super strength and he can climb up walls and tell danger and all that stuff, and you have Batman who has like all these gadgets, and you have Superman who can fly and all that stuff. But then you have Darkman, who's basically just a guy with a mask, and he's hanging on this hook from a helicopter like hundreds of feet in the air, and he can't do anything about it. And that did, even though there was kind of weak special effects with it, well, at least with the green screen, I did like how how it kind of put some suspense in the movie because I really didn't know how he was going to deal with it.
Yeah, that too. Like I enjoyed the scene, although it looked really fake. Like you can just imagine how it would look. Uh,
Yeah,
like
just like pretend it looks good.
yeah, exactly.
Just close your eyes and imagine what the scene would look like. Another thing I didn't really like about the movie was how his own face took like 2 weeks to construct, but then he just snaps a photo of a random thug and gets it in like 15 minutes. I didn't really understand the logic behind that part.
No, it's just like how in the first Alien movie it takes like weeks or days or something before you can before like the chest burster comes out. But like in Alien versus Predator, it comes out in like an hour or something. So it's exactly like that problem.
Maybe it's just different time zones.
Yeah, that's a possibility too.
That's how time zones work. It's like here in New Jersey, time goes twice as fast as you.
Or they just went back and went to the future or something, or they changed the time on their watch or something.
What were some of your favorite parts about it? About Darkman?
Uh, I really like the ending, like the end fight and stuff like that. Or when he hunts down all the thugs one by one. And I also think the opening scene is really cool, actually.
I did enjoy the opening scene with the big warehouse shootout. I mean, it kind of just kicks the movie off with a bang. And like,
Yeah.
you know, like this isn't like a romantic comedy that, like, in case you got into the wrong theater, like that's not what we're here for.
Yeah, and the oh my god, I was trying to say something, but I forgot. Like the
Yeah, exactly.
I just totally forgot what I wanted to say. Oh, but like the character Darkman itself is just really interesting. Like there are not really that many specific scenes I really enjoy, but it's just like the character itself that I find interesting the most.
To me, this was kind of like this was almost like a different version of um, the Spider-Man villain Chameleon as a movie and what it would look like to me. It was kind of like that because he has a similar power set. He has like a no really default face, and then can put on kind of anyone's disguise.
Yeah, but only in dark. And actually, they should have done more with the concept of him only being able to change his face in the dark, because they don't really do anything with that concept. That could have been like a that could have been like a
seems to be like they put it in early in the script, and then they just kind of never mention it again.
yeah.
There are scenes where his skin melts in the light, but there aren't anywhere it stays on in the nighttime, which kind of like makes it pointless to even introduce that as a plot point.
But there's like this hilarious scene in this one of the Darkman spin-off books. I think it was in Darkman 2 in the Face of Death, but I'm not sure. But anyway, in that book, there's like a scene where it needs to be two people at the same time. So like there's one woman who's supposed to sit in the car, and one is supposed to sit in the house. So like the bad guy runs from the or like walks from the house to the car. So he needs to be in the house as that one guy, and then he needs to get in the car and be that one lady. So there's a there's a scene in the book where he goes to the toilet, then climbs through a very small window, falls to the ground, runs to the car, and puts on a new mask and new shoes and clothes and stuff. All while the guy is just walking to the car, and I would have loved to see that in the movie just because it's so ridiculous and basically impossible to do. But it would be really suspenseful, actually.
Maybe he has maybe Liam Neeson or Darkman has practiced putting on women's clothes really fast. Like maybe he's like a speed running cross dresser. Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Or maybe just for him exclusively. But yeah, that sounds like an interesting scene.
Yeah, it is. And there's also like a scene at Six Flags in Darkman, in the Face of Death, which is like a fight scene in a roller coaster, and it's so cinematic. And I would love to see like a fight scene with Darkman in a roller coaster and like on the rails and stuff like that. Like you could do such cool things with that, especially with Darkman, since he's like a freak, and then he's in at like Six Flags where there are people dressed up as freaks and stuff. Or at least that's in the book. I don't know if there are actually people dressed up as freaks at Six Flags. I've never been there.
If you go during October, there's this thing called Fright Fest, and it's like there are people there dressed as zombies, as witches, as like horror movie characters, like guys with chainsaws and hockey masks and whatever. So I'm sure he would probably actually fit in. So if that was the setting, that could work pretty good.
I know. This is the reason why I would love to see like a Darkman sequel, which would like maybe even adapt like a book, like based off the book Darkman in the Face of Death or something, or it's just a entire new script. But I hope there's gonna be like a scene at like Six Flags or something like that. That would be great, actually.
That or if they don't have the budget for like a roller coaster fight, just do him arguing with the ticket booth guy and then choke slamming him into a table. Give me the fucking flash. Yeah, I do think one of the most compelling elements of Darkman as a character is that he doesn't really have any, superhuman durability. I mean, Batman has armor and Superman's bulletproof and whatever, but he's just like a dude running around in a mask, and that kind of adds more of an element of danger to even fighting like one-armed guard.
Yeah, it's true. It's not like with Superman or something, like he can get hit with anything, like with any gun, and it doesn't really matter. Like he could actually just die. He won't feel it or something like that, but he will die. But like, what do you think of Sam Raimi's direction and the overall style of the movie and stuff?
I really enjoyed the style of it. I liked I mostly enjoyed the story. The acting was well done. Pretty much the only complaints I have were with action sequences, because there's like the one scene where the his lab assistant gets killed, and he does this like karate move on this one guy, and it's totally ridiculous. You can tell it's staged. And then there are other scenes where like the helicopter's shooting like 40 bullets and misses him with every one. you know, and then there's like all these explosions and stuff. And I think those kind of drag the movie down a little bit, but it's all some of them are understandable, like how it's you know, it's in the like the green screen I can get, but the fight scenes for me drag it down, especially because there were like James Bond movies that came around that time or even before then that had pretty good fight scenes where it looked realistic, but just there were a couple moments that dragged down, but otherwise I really did enjoy the direction of it.
Yeah, me too. I also really like the opening scene with the smoke and stuff and the music. It gets you really ready for a fun ride. And this is definitely a movie I would watch with some friends and stuff, like with popcorn.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And I would really recommend it to people who really like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy because this really has the same style. When you watch this, it's like you watch the like the first Spider-Man for the first time again.
Yeah.
So that was
it's almost just from the kind of the style of something. It's almost like a prequel to Spider-Man. Not as much with a story, but with just kind of the way you can kind of just see the way Sam Raimi was like developing some of his what he enjoyed using films and what he thought could use work and stuff like that. So it's really interesting. Definitely, if you have seen and enjoyed the Spider-Man films, this is definitely a movie to check out.
or like this is what Spider-Man would be like the 2002 film, if Sony didn't stop him from just doing whatever the fuck he wants. Like, there are probably some over-the-top scenes, like in Darkman, that would have been in Spider-Man if Sony didn't stop him. And for one, this only for this time, I'm happy Sony stopped someone or something and did something about the production. Like, most of the time, it's just forcing Venom in it or stuff like that, like stupid stuff. But I'm actually
most of the time they do screw things up.
Yeah. Just look at Spider-Man 3 or The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Anyway, do you have anything more to say about Darkman?
I do not. I do. It's. I don't personally consider it a great movie, but if you have, an hour and a half or 2 hours to kill, and you have some friends who might enjoy some of the more bizarre moments in it, it's worth a watch.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, this is the podcast for this week. Next week we'll be discussing the Meg with
Jason Statham.
Yeah, exactly.
Rainn Wilson and maybe one other person whose name I can't remember. Those two people are in it.
And a shark, a really big shark, actually.
Very, very giant shark. But like a really big shark, also in the movie. So yeah, check it out next week.
See ya.
Later.
You know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah. 2 3 seconds.